What's up everyone? Time for a review of the second studio album by Father John Misty. This one is titled
I Love You!
Honeybear. Don't forget to check me out on Twitter, Facebook, and of course my vlog channel. All of the links are in the description down below, along with that top link that you see in the description if you would like to help the channel by donating. That'll help the videos keep coming on a more regular basis. Like I said, Father John Misty, the pseudonym of Josh Tillman, the former Fleet Foxes drummer, who actually makes some really provoking and creative indie music. What immediately sets him apart from others in the genre, if we're not counting the string sections, the brass, the psychedelic influences, etc., etc., would be the lyrical content. It's shrewd, it's confident, and his words just tear down relationships with either huge sarcastic overtones or else build them up with the use of honest and straightforward lyricism. I've heard this record at least 8 times now, and it's something that I'm taking to kind of like I did with Of Montreal's Hissing Fauna, Are You the Destroyer? Those are 2 albums that are both densely layered with rich instrumentation and make perfect use of the oddball personalities of the men that are penning them. That might seem like a weird comparison to some of my viewers, and if so, you can scratch that. Think of it this way. Do you get tired of your indie music always having to be so serious in nature and never really have any fun? Well, if so, then boy, have I got a record for you. This is not a comedy album, and that's not what I'm implying. But the fact is, Tillman comes off so sarcastic and bitter on some of these tracks that it's hard for me not to laugh out loud as some of the lines are sung. The brutal honesty should be appreciated and praised by whatever female these lines are being delivered to. As evidenced by the title, many of these songs do fall into the relationship category, whether it's Tillman recalling his first sexual encounter on Chateau lobby number 4, an irritated recollection of his shortcomings on The Ideal Husband, or a chance encounter just because of a trip to the store on the aptly titled I Went to the Store One Day. These songs all just work on nearly every level. There might be a couple of pieces of wood tossed into the gears that keep them from turning perfectly from time to time, but it really doesn't stop this from being a nearly completely smooth trip from start to finish, an album that is simply just a pleasure to listen to. The opening track, which is the title track, I Love You Honeybear, immediately lured me into the vibe that this record has going on. There's a perfect amount of reverb splashed onto the vocals here, giving his sound a 60s lo-fi meets modern indie feel. Lyrically, this track is an absolute gem. Tillman tries to put his undying devotion for his significant other into words and turns out lines like, "You're the one that I want to watch the ship go down with," and "Everything is doomed, nothing will be spared, but I love you, Honeybear." The track is incredibly laugh-worthy to me just because of how over the top it is. It's like he's seeing this impending apocalypse with his lover, and they're seeing it through together, like they're sharing their last night on Earth together, and it's just ridiculous, but it's amazing at the same time. I've got a lot of love for that title track, but the night Josh Tillman came to our apartment and The Ideal Husband both give it a run for its money. Remember that sarcasm and wit I was talking about? Well, Apartment has both of those aspects. We're thrown into the song with the line, "Oh, I just love the kind of woman who can walk over a man like a damn marching band." Because that's sincere, right? He's exploring what's most likely a potential love interest as he suffers through her explanations of things, wondering if she's even aware of the meanings of the words that she's saying. The guitar here is light and airy, there's a string section and drum pattern that really just keep this song moving forward. He's in that place that I'm sure many of you guys have been in at some point in your life. He's getting through a painful night with someone that he does not like at all, just to get laid. Props to you, Father John. You found yet another way to tackle a relationship story in a clever and interesting way. I'm loving The Ideal Husband because, well, it tells the story of a man who is pretty much anything but the ideal man. Born in the USA is one track that I will say I'm a bit unmoved by. I think maybe just because I'm not connecting with it. It's apparent that Tillman does have some sentiments against religion, even getting a bit sarcastic as he sings, "Save me, white Jesus," near the end of this one. I thought that that would be the main problem that I would have with this track, mainly because I am religious, and not saying that I can't enjoy tracks that, well, clearly are not religious and have sentiments against them, considering I love the album Evil Friends by Portugal the Man. It's just that mainly I think that this track has a problem with its drive, just going forward. It really kept me from getting into it. It's got some interesting social and even political commentary, but the somewhat distant vocals mixed with mainly a piano here don't exactly make for the most engaging engaging piece. However, Tillman is able to pull off that slower style and make the song worth hearing over and over again, as he proves with the closing track, I Went to the Store One Day. It might be slightly more raw in its delivery, but really this track just finds its feet and more importantly delivers an almost comical story of a man who, well, went to the store one day. The man has a knack for telling a story to his listeners, reeling us in with this fake story about a man who's losing weight, dealing with paranoia, until he finally just reveals that, oh yeah, by the way, none of that was actually true. A couple of others that I'm really loving would be Chateau Lobby number 4, of course, In C for Two Virgins, and When You're Smiling and Astride Me. Lobby sees Tillman eager to let out some sexual tension for the first time ever, actually. Whatever woman isn't charmed by the line, I want to take you in the kitchen, lift up your wedding dress someone was probably murdered in, well, she's not the one. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's a bit twisted, but it's wonderful. True Affection is one of the more electronic-leaning tracks here on the record, with programmed drums and synthesizers popping up all over the place. I can't say that it really works for me. The repetition just kind of puts the nail in the coffin on this one. He's going for some really high notes as he repeats the two words True Affection over and over again during the chorus of this one, and it's just like, what happened on this one, Josh? The verses are solid enough, but I really just don't see the appeal in this one overall. It's kind of like the black sheep of the family, considering most of these songs have a pretty tight and connected groove flowing all throughout them, but this one just kind of feels a bit out of place. The only 3 tracks that I've yet to mention would be Nothing Ever Happens, Strange Encounter, and the very cunning Holy Shit, the latter of those which has some of the most intelligent lyrical content on the entire record. You can call me weird, but I'm hearing traces of Green Day's Last Night on Earth from the 21st Century Breakdown record in the reverb-laden guitar intro to Nothing Good. It drove me absolutely crazy for about 30 minutes because I was playing the notes over and over again in my head and I could not place it. I finally narrowed it down to, I was like, okay, it's something off of 21st Century Breakdown, but what is it? Once again, this track is beautifully arranged and has me chuckling as Tillman sings, she blackens pages like a Russian romantic, gets down more often than a blow-up doll. He's frustrated, he's venting, and once again, he strikes gold. Sexually charged, laid back, folk-leaning cuts line I Love You, Honeybear, making for one of the best albums of the year so far. Not only that, but one of the most refreshing and different releases that I've heard in quite some time. I mean, how often do you get to hear a guy on an album addressing his nemesis with a line like, why the long face, jerk off? Father John Misty's record has already pleased fans and critics alike, so I definitely recommend hearing this thing. I think it's an improvement over his last record, Fear Fun, which I just recently heard for the first time, with the biggest standouts here on this new record being the guitar and string-filled Strange Encounter, the night Josh Tillman came to our apartment, and of course, the unforgettable title track. For me, I Love You, Honeybear is a 4.5 out of 5. So if you saw my fedora, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments section down below. I'm feeling a strong 5 on this one, but of course that's just my opinion. And of course, in all honesty, let me know what you thought about Father John Misty's new album, I Love You, Honeybear. Definitely in my top 3 right now for albums that have been released in 2015, the others being Purity Ring and Slater Kinney. Thanks for hitting the like button on this video, subscribing to the channel, and thank you for watching ARTV. I will see you very soon.